For the 100% cheapest coins on the internet with reliable delivery and quick customer support, check out my sponsor MMOEXP by clicking the link at the top of the description and use code SWIFT at checkout for 5% off. Salsa family, and today, it's back, boys. Let's go! Come on! So yeah, the most popular series on the channel, MUT Team Reviews, is back for another episode. This is a series where you guys submit your teams to me on Twitter, and I review them live in a video. We critique for where you need upgrades, where you should be using your abilities, going over your chemistries, and at the end of it all, I grade your team as either an F, an A, a B, a C. You guys know how the grading system works. I know you guys are in school. I am very excited to hop into this one. If you guys do want another episode of this where I review even more of your guys' teams, leave a like down below. 1,000 likes on the video and we will do another part to this. And if you want to be entered in my team reviews, all you have to do is follow me on Twitter at SwiftYouTube. It is right there, and I'll put out a tweet when I'm doing another episode. You simply reply to that tweet with photos of your team, and that's how you're entered. So hopefully you guys are excited. Leave a like if you are, and without further ado, let's hop into team number one. Okay, so team number one is a 94 overall squad with about 70,000 coins in the bank. And taking a look at the offense, he is quarterbacked by Dante Culpepper, Bo Jackson in the backfield, Dion, DK, and Calvin Ridley at the receiver spots. He's got Evan Ingram and George Kittle at tight end. The offensive line looks solid. And moving on to the defense, he's got a pretty solid cornerback group: Deion Sanders, Charles Woodson, Glover Quinn, Eddie Jackson back there at free safety, Jamal Adams, a solid D-line, and a solid linebacker core. Now let's get into what I like and what he should be upgrading on this team. So when it comes to the offense here, I do really like what you're doing at the wide receiver and running back spot. Love Calvin Ridley, love DK Metcalf. At QB, we could potentially upgrade if you want to go down the strong arm route like you're doing right now with Dante Culpepper. A good option for you could be that 95 overall Josh Allen powered up, or if you want to go down the hot route master and gunslinger option, then you would pick up someone like Rich Gannon. So you could go for an upgrade at quarterback. I do like tight end Evan Ingram. You could potentially upgrade the offensive line a little bit. I would keep the interior O-line as is and potentially sell off your right tackle and left tackle to pick up new players there. There's a couple of good value options in the 92 overall and 95 overall campus hero program, and sell off your backups. Get rid of that 91 Will Shields, get rid of that Trent Williams. Let's move on to the defense. Now moving on to the defense, I like what you're doing a lot here. I love the cornerback group. I would actually consider selling off Charles Woodson and picking up Marcus Peters instead. The card will basically be the same overall, but Marcus Peters is one of the best corners I've played with this year, and you'll actually be getting a +2 speed boost by making that upgrade. So definitely a good one to do there. At the safety spot, Glover Quinn and Jamal Adams are both some good safeties. I love Julius Peppers at left end. That's a really good value card. I can see you do have quite a few linebackers here. I never really recommend playing with that many linebackers on the field, so you could kind of make a little bit of a philosophy switch, and if you play a lot of nickel and dime, sub out some of those linebackers and sell off a couple of them to pick up some backup safeties to add in at the linebacker spot in those packages. So just an option on defense, but overall, this is a pretty good team. Now in terms of the grade, we'll give this team a B+. I think a 94 overall with this squad is actually pretty good at this stage in the year, and I do like the way you spent your coins. A lot of good value options all over the field on offense and defense. Also, this weird YouTuber named Ferdy submitted this photo. I don't know who that guy is, but he's so weird, bro. Now next up, we've got a 96 overall squad here. This team does look pretty good. I don't know how he got to a 96 and only has 170 coins in the bank, but either way, a lot of players that I like on offense and defense. Josh Allen, I love him at QB. T.Y. Hilton, one of the most underrated receivers in Madden. His offensive line has actually done really well. I think Ronnie Stanley is probably the best left tackle in this game, and he's not even crazy expensive. Randy Moss, DK Metcalf, I love it. It says he's using his 95 overall power up pass on Kamara, and I would say this offense is basically perfect right here. Now getting into the defense, what can I really say? This defense is basically perfect. I love Marcus Peters and Denzel Ward. Those two corners are awesome. Landon Collins is a really nice card as well. The D-line is nice. Basically all around the field is super nice. The only thing I could maybe suggest is picking up another backup free safety in case you do run a lot of nickel and dime, and you do need another safety on the field. But otherwise, this squad is very good. Let's talk about some changes when it comes to abilities though, because that's probably where I can offer some more insight. Now I think you did a good job of abilities on defense. On offense, we can make a couple of changes. I don't think that edge protector is really all that worth it anymore. You could take off off those abilities and maybe put something on AK-41, potentially Backfield Master. That only costs 1 AP. And the reason why I don't love Edge Protector right now is because I feel like I don't play against a ton of edge threats. I'm mainly going up against people that either send 3 or send the crib. So Edge Protector doesn't really make a difference for me anymore. Now I can see that you also spent 6 AP to either get Slot Apprentice or Outside Apprentice. That means you could potentially make a quarterback switch to Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon is only going to cost you 3 AP for Hot Route Master, whereas right now you're spending 6 AP on all of those Slot Apprentices. So what you could do is potentially switch to Hot Route Master by getting Rich Gannon. You could still get Gunslinger on your quarterback, but then that would free up some more AP to potentially put Route Tech on your wide receivers, which is going to be so crucial against man coverage. So I think the team is built really well, and if you have success with this team, there's no need to switch that, but just something you could do to kind of make a philosophy change, and I do think Edge Protector isn't really all that worth it anymore. But yeah, otherwise, this team is getting an A, man. A really, really good job building it. Love Jonnu Smith, and just as I look across the board, there's really no complaints. A really good job on this team. Now, next up, we've got a very interesting 93 overall team. Jonnu Smith, Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara. Love those cards. I think wide receivers where we could make some upgrades. We'll get into that in just a bit. The offensive line looks pretty solid. Now, moving on to the defense, he's got Dion, Denzel, Marshawn Lattimore. Love those cards right there. The D-line looks solid. Steve Atwater, free safety. Very underrated card. Eddie Jackson as well. You love to see it. Jamal Adams, Buda Baker. I don't think we're going to touch this defense at all. Let's get into some upgrades on the offensive side of the ball. So on offense, here's the change I'm going to make for you. We're going to power up DK Metcalf to his full version, so we'll get him up to a 97. That's going to require picking up his 95 overall, and then what I'd recommend you do is actually demote Terry McLaurin and pick up the new T.Y. Hilton card. Power up that T.Y. Hilton card, take off both your edge protectors. Edge protector isn't really a must anymore, and you can actually put Route Tech on T.Y. Hilton. I can see you've got Route Tech on Deion Sanders, so that's going to really put you in a good spot. 2 Route Techs on the field with Backfield Master on Alvin and Tight End Apprentice on Jonnu Smith is going to put you in a really, really good position. You'll have DK Metcalf, you'll have T.Y. Hilton, and Deion Sanders, which is a great wide receiver core. Otherwise, I think this team is really well constructed. I wouldn't touch the offensive line right now. I feel like wide receiver is a much bigger need. We need to get more speed there because it's really tough to beat some of these higher overall corners without having the highest speed possible. So that's what I would recommend you do. Otherwise, a big fan of the offense, big fan of the defense. We're going to give this team a B. Now, next up, we've got a 92 overall team. Going over these lower overall teams is honestly more fun in my opinion, so shout out to you for submitting. And we've got Justin Herbert at quarterback. In my opinion, this is the best quarterback you can possibly get as a lower overall team. If you guys did those snowball challenges earlier, then you got a really good QB because Justin Herbert's high speed, high throw power, 99 throw power actually on the card. So really awesome right there. AK at the running back spot. I feel like wide receiver's good. I like Adoree Jackson. I like Terry McLaurin. We might upgrade Mike Thomas. I am a big fan of Mike IRL, but the speed is a little bit low on Michael Thomas's card in Madden. The offensive line we can revamp a little bit later, and we'll go over some upgrades there. Jeremy Shockey, actually a pretty underrated tight end. Moving it on to the defense. Love the corners. You're doing a really good job there with Dion, Denzel, and Marshawn. Those corners are really good. I can see you've got Lawrence Taylor powered up, and I don't know if you took LT with your free player from the challenges, but if you didn't, I would actually recommend you sell off that card and get your coin count up because we can make some serious upgrades if you make that change. So in terms of upgrades on the defense, the first thing I want to do is power up Myles Garrett all the way. You can actually get Myles Garrett up to a 95 by simply using training, which is really, really good value. So get him up to his highest overall version, get Leroy Glover up by upgrading that card with some team captain collectibles, and I would also recommend you pick up the Minka Fitzpatrick Zero Chill card, sell off the Minka you have right now, and then you'll end up having 3 really good safeties on the field in Eddie Jackson, Taylor Mays, and Minka, some improved pass rush with Myles Garrett, and I think your corners are really set. Now getting into the offense, I can see you've got 94 overall Michael Thomas. That Michael Thomas card is selling for 150k. I would actually recommend you sell off the MT. We could potentially pick up someone like T.Y. Hilton or someone like DK Metcalf to get an upgrade there at that wide receiver spot and really have a playmaker on the offensive side of the field. The offensive line could also use some tweaks. Let me quickly find some good value cards for you to pick up at left tackle and right tackle because those are easily the most important O-line positions. Now a couple players you could look to pick up at left tackle and right tackle are going to be Brian Bulaga. He actually isn't crazy expensive at right tackle, and then Chris Samuels, the 92 overall campus hero at left tackle for about 80k. Those are going to be some pretty solid upgrades on the O-line for this team. Also, last thing, please spend all of your ability points. I can see you have not spent all of them right here, so be sure you're using all 12 AP. Abilities are potentially more important than players. I can see you're not using all 12 on offense or on defense, so that's something that's got to change hands down. But otherwise, given the circumstances, we're going to give this team a B-. Good job, and if you make those upgrades, you'll actually be in a really good spot. Now, next up is a part Washington football and part Seahawks theme team with Mike Vick at the helm. He's got Barry Sanders at running back, T.Y. Hilton, Terry McLaurin, and DK Metcalf across the board, and then Chris Cooley at the tight end spot, and a pretty solid O-line. Now, getting into the defense, this is probably where we'll start to make some upgrades. As you guys can see, the defensive line is a bit lackluster. I can see the reason he did that, though. It's because he does have a theme team. Eddie Jackson at free safety, my guy. Love to see that. Malcolm Jenkins, he's got Jamal Adams, Troy Vincent, a really good corner card. I'm surprised we haven't seen him on more teams. DRC as well. But let's get into some upgrades for the team. Now, the first thing we got to do here is get rid of Malcolm Jenkins. He is way too slow to be on this team. I would recommend you pick up a new backup safety. There's a lot of good options out there, but Malcolm Jenkins is not one of them. He is just way too slow. Otherwise, this defense does look pretty good. I don't really think I'm going to make any other adjustments on here because of the fact that this is a theme team and it's probably pretty nitpicky. If I move cards around, it could be an issue. If you want to improve your overall, you probably could look for a higher overall left end on the Seahawks and a higher overall right outside linebacker, but that's just totally optional. Now, on offense, I'm going to actually suggest you sell off Michael Vick. I am not a big fan of scrambler quarterbacks this year. You could get a lot of coins for him if you do sell him off. Hopefully, he isn't your free selection. If he is your free pick from the 50 player, then you are going to have to keep him, but if he isn't, I would actually recommend you sell off this Mike Vick. I'm not a huge fan of scramblers this year, and I feel like we could switch to someone else like Josh Allen, who still has some solid mobility, or Rich Gannon if you do really want Hot Route Master, which is going to be much more effective than an escape artist in my opinion. But yeah, otherwise, we are going to grade this team a B+. I think he did a pretty solid job on this one. I do really like T.Y. Hilton at wide receiver, one of my favorite receivers in this game. Okay, now last team in the video is a no money spent squad. Thank you guys all for submitting. If you didn't get picked, I'm sorry. I'll try and get to you in the next one. But let's go over this team right here. He's got Herbie at QB. Love that Justin Herbert card. Kenyon Drake at running back. Actually a really good value player. Andre Johnson, I hope he doesn't see your field. DK Metcalf, Calvin Ridley, both really good cards. Jonnu Smith at tight end. Love that there. And then the offensive line looks solid as well. Now on defense, he's got Eddie Jackson. You'll love to see it. Jamal Adams, Isaiah Simmons. All right, I see you. Deion Sanders, Marshawn Lattimore, and Denzel Ward. This is actually a really good team. Let's get into some upgrades, but I don't think there's going to be money because this is a really well constructed squad. So I'm hard pressed to find an upgrade for you, but one thing I would probably recommend you do is maybe pick up a new wide receiver 3. I'm not a huge fan of Andre Johnson. I don't know if he plays for you because I don't know what scheme you use, but if you are using 3 receivers on the field, Andre Johnson should not be one of them. So we can look to pick up maybe even just Terry McLaurin. He's a lot cheaper than some of those higher end wide receivers, but he is going to be a solid wide out for you. Or if you are looking to spend a little bit more, someone like Tyreek Hill could be good. There's a lot of good options, and Andre Johnson really isn't one of them. I'm not a huge fan of that card. Otherwise, a really good job with the team. I think he did a good job at running back and quarterback. I think as the year continues to progress, Kenyon Drake might become less viable, but for now, he is actually going to be a really good card. If you're looking to upgrade, maybe we go for someone like Bo Jackson or Alvin Kamara, but for now, Kenyon Drake is nice, especially on a 94 overall. And on the defense, I honestly don't really have any suggestions for you. I think you built this team really well. I honestly can't find one change on defense that I would make. I do like this team, and based on how many coins you spend, we're going to give this team an A because I think you did a really good job of maximizing the value of your coins and getting to a 94 while still having really good players across the board. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hope you guys have enjoyed team reviews today. If you did, leave a like, hit that sub button if you want more of it in the future and you don't want to miss out. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.
So,